welcome to Floyd Models Kit Review Time. Today we've got Meng's latest release. This is the SHILKA 1/35th scale, also known as the ZSU-23-4. Obviously it's got four 23mm guns. Pretty much a fantastic weapon system. Very, very simple, but very, very effective. Any aircraft that's basically below sort of 9,000 feet, you've got a real job on your hand if you're in this particular zone of defense that this weapon does. It's mobile, it's pretty fast on the ground, it can keep up with armor and obviously protect itself from, you know, most airborne threats. As I say, below sort of 9,000 feet, then you've got a real problem on your hand. It's nice to see a nice new kit of this one in 1/35th scale. So it's their Tyrannosaurus range, I do believe, TS. So it's the kit number for this one is TS023. Beautiful box art on the front, as you can see. We've got some different colour markings down on the side there. So we've got the Anti-Aircraft Battalion of the 324th Motorised Rifle Regiment, which is 1995-1996 for the Chechen War. Or the first Chechen War. Then we've got another one over here, which is the Anti-Aircraft Battalion of the 105th Motorised Regiment, which is Ural Military District in 1998. Okay, so some little different options, as you can see down there. We've got a little bit of blurb all about it. Obviously, it's an anti-aircraft weapon. It's been around for a long time. In fact, I don't know if it says on here when this was first came into production. 1962, the first version of this. Obviously, it's been upgraded as time goes on to getting later and later versions and everything else. Then down here, quite a nice one. We've got Red Star Parade one from 1972, from the 55th anniversary of the October Revolution. And basically the same on the other side. So, down in the box, one thing you have to say, Meng's boxes, and I know it sounds really sad and silly, but they are fantastic quality. I had to break a couple of these up to put in recycling, and it takes a lot of work to break these things. The quality is absolutely fantastic. So, usual thing, as you can see, pretty much a stuffed bag down in here. So, as I say, I've never looked in this box at all, so what I'm going to do is start down the bottom. We'll move it out of the way, and as we always do, we'll start down here with the instructions. And the first thing that strikes you, this is really thick. Okay, it seems to be a lot thicker than the normal instructions we've seen. Okay, so obviously you've got the usual blurb we were talking about on the front in various languages, which is always nice to get a little bit of background. And it is that normal way. So we're starting off with all the wheels. So obviously we've got the drive, the road wheels, everything you can imagine down here in the lower hull. Looks like we've got different versions down here, B, C and D. Alright, so just check your versions, which one you're actually going to be doing, because obviously there is differences between them all. Working with the lower hull, opening up some holes as well, making sure you do those. Okay, and generally working your way through the lower hull. We have got the situation where it looks like it's got the torsion bar suspension system in some of this, which is quite nice, so it gives you a little bit of movement. Alright, the tracks look like, which is now my latest sort of mission that I go on to see if they're any good. Universally, Meng stuff tends to be a click fit, which is great. It's Takum seems to be letting the side down on there a little bit at the moment. Okay, but generally, as we can see, it looks like a click system down in there with the tracks, which is quite nice. Top deck going on. Looks like we've got a little bit of mechanics down in the front, which is quite a nice touch. Okay, so we've got the driver's seat, which is something we haven't really seen with Meng before, internals. So we've got the engine system and all the bits and pieces going down in there like that. Again, colour call outs for A, B, C and D different versions, making sure you keep an eye on what you're doing, and some other parts going down on there. The upper hull type, you know, obviously we've got hatches and grills and various things. The little front fender system. Okay, that's all going down there. Then it's working on this top hull system. Again, some beautiful stuff down in here, some nice plating work. The tow cables, all the little hatches from the side and everything else going in there like that. Okay, again, just making sure of your versions that you're doing down here. And then we've actually got the driver's hatch can be open or shut, which is a nice touch again. And working our way down through the upper hull with all the last few bits and pieces going on. And then it's a straightforward attachment onto the top. A little bit of photo etch looks like we're going to be rolled around the back, as I say. So if you roll it round, that gives it that nice heat shield effect. Okay, and some more bits and pieces going on the back. A few more just in there. Then it's working into the gun assembly system of it. Okay, so we're going to be 4 of these, I should imagine. And then obviously putting those together with the cooling tubes. I do believe these are the cooling ones off it to keep the gun nice and cold, because you can imagine spewing them out. It does take a little bit of cooling. Okay, and then obviously the cannon system being put together, all being put on, again making sure you've got all the piping in and everything else like that. Watching out your colour call-outs, again, we've got multiple things for opening up holes down here, A, B and D version. So we've got 0.1 mil, 0.7 mil, 0.2.4, so make sure you've got your drill bits out because we've got 0.8 and everything else. Personally, I just sort of go universal and drill into it. So we've got the cannon system being put into the actual turret itself and the various parts going on there like that. Bottom half of the turret being fitted onto it with the collar, and then what we got down here, more turret parts going in, all the hatches and the lumps, bumps, lights, as you can imagine on this one, all being fitted in there. The radar assembly itself, okay, obviously very important. I assume you can have it open or stowed positions, okay, and then the final parts going onto the actual hull, as you can imagine. Armour plates over the top, really nice. That I imagine these can be open for the ammo feed tray system. It'd be really nice touch if these can be in the open position, because you could do a little mini diorama of it all being reloaded and everything else like that, which I haven't seen anyone do before. So it's nice that this kit has got the option. We were talking about it obviously fitting the radar, a couple of different versions of it, of the radar as well, so just checking your references again, okay, and the final bit, and then the turret being fitted down on the top, okay, beautiful work. Parts call out, as you can imagine. Then we obviously got the markings and the photo etch, which we'll look at in a moment to make our way through, and we've got the nice color marking. So it's nice, as I say, we've got the different various options going down on here. Color call outs are all in your Vallejo as well, straight the way forward. That's the one we saw on the box, German one. Who else? We got one down in here. This is the Marine Black Sea Fleet version of it, and we looked at that one. That's the 105th, and we've got here the 341st, 1997, 1998 Afghan. Quite nice, number 370. Something a little bit different, as you say. I'm working your way through, and colour call-outs with what they are just down there. I have to say, we've been speaking about instructions recently. Meng are right there. Their instructions are nice, they're straightforward, easy to follow, and make building a joy, because the kits tend to be pretty good as well. Down in here, probably we can do it without opening. As you can see, we've got your usual obligatory decals, nothing too much on there. We've got a little bit of instrument work and everything else. Okay, so we dive in here first. So down in here we got nice little bit of photo etch, as you can see, very nice on that one. Some nice detail with the grills and the various bits. Nice to see we get it down here. We've got the hosing. I'm assuming this is the cooling work for the actual gun system. Again, you could replace it with lead if you wanted to do it that way and have a little bit smoother finish. Right, okay. We just work our way through the sprues. Okay, so we're just going to do that, and that's why just spread a little bit more light on this. Okay, so we've got the standard type of polycaps, which is fair enough, no problem with those for doing the wheels. And we have our first part, so we've got the lower hull. We just drop the top cap a little bit down. Okay, as you can see, some really nice details down in there. Very nice, very sharp, very crisp. And actually, when I say crisp, this is actually very sharp to the touch. Again, no problems with it at all. Beautifully cast and everything else. This is actually really sharp, these corners, you know, and actually it's the crispness of the moulding with Meng stuff tends to be good, but actually this seems to take it to a new level, because this is actually quite sharp. Okay, this isn't messing around here, this is really sharp to touch. Okay, but beautiful work, as we can see down there. All right, we have got the date 2015, so it is a nice new bit. Okay, if we just start at the top and we'll work our way through the sprues. Okay, so down here in a sprue one. Okay, as you can see, green on green, not the best idea. Okay, sprue C. So as you can see down here, we've got some very nice details. I'm just trying to see for problems, if I'm honest. I'm looking around here, we've got no flash. We've got no real burring either, which is a very nice touch. Okay, burring obviously is the sandwich between the mould itself. Generally, there's no sink marks, nothing else like that. It looks a little bit shiny, the mould, and I'm getting a little bit of texture from it, so you might want to think about, obviously, release agent on here. Might be worth giving these a rinse before you get going, okay? A little bit of washing up liquid, and away you go. All the ejector pins are very nice. They're very shallow. None of them are in anywhere that I can see that is going to hinder your build whatsoever. And even the smallest of the small parts are all extremely nicely done. If we start up here and we just work across slowly, you can see we've got some very nice stuff on all of these parts. No problem with them at all. They are just generally very nice, very crisp mouldings on all of these. Again, it's one of those things with Meng, they seem to have nailed it. They can do the smallest of parts or really big stuff with no problem at all. So that's a very nice start. Okay. Sprue gates and all the Meng stuff as well tends to be very, very small, but other things are quite big and chunky where you don't worry about it. So again, it is obviously all personal choice of how we make our way through. Take that out of the way. Okay, so looking at the next sprue, as you say, we've got obviously bits of the turret down here, the sides, bottom half, the actual side. There's no detail obviously on this guy here because it's going to be plated up all around the sides and everything else like that, but we've got some shovels down there, the ammo actual containers here. And everything else again. Again, it has a slightly shiny look to it if you catch it in the light, but I don't know if it is release agent. It is just quite a shiny mould. All right, so again, beautiful detail on all these parts. No problem with it at all. We catch it in the light, you can see it. Very nice indeed. On the blind side, they've even cleaned up the actual ejector tabs for you, which is quite a nice touch. And working our way around. Again, very nice, very clean, very crisp. Got a little bit of a tab as well, so it's nice. You can make a nice clean cut when you're removing these from the actual sprues. No problem down there. Okay, some of the smaller parts here. So we've got the guns themselves and all the other bits like that. So as you can see, so this is sprue H. We've got some cabling down here. No sign of flash on any of this cable work whatsoever. Tiniest little bit perhaps just down there, but we are actually, it comes off of your finger, it's that thin. Okay, but generally again, looking at all the parts, very nicely done, no problem with that at all. Looking down here at the gun system, you know, I know it's very difficult green on green, but again, beautifully done, no problem with that. The guns are actually hollow to a certain depth, which is quite a nice touch as well. A little bit of drilling out would improve that no end, but again, I'm sure the aftermarket guys might pop along with some brass. Okay. But again, all of these parts beautifully cast, very nicely done. This is what we're talking about. This is the ammo containers, but we've actually got some detail on the inside as well. And we don't have any ejector pins, which is a really nice touch, because something like that, where you can just open it up and you haven't got to then make a load of work for yourself, is well worth doing. Very nice. Okay, again, there's a lot of small parts on this one for armor. You know, there's a lot of parts in here, but they're all extremely nicely done. So down here, as you can probably see, a little bit on the close up there, we've got the ammo chute themselves, the feed, very nicely done. Then we've got obviously drive stuff. We've got the torsion suspension systems working their way around here. The collar, we've even got the windscreen wiper in for the hatch just down below. All these different areas, extremely nice. In fact, I have to say this is probably one of the best looking Meng kits I've seen today. Extremely crisp, extremely sharp. Little things like inside the hatches, we've got the texture just down in here as well. And even down in this one, technically this isn't an opening one, but a couple of little passes and that'll clean that up lovely on these areas, no problem at all. We have got an ejector pin in the middle of that one, but it's sort of camouflaged and sunk in, if you like, the way that that actually is, but there is one down in there. Okay. Just beautiful, really, really nice. No problem with this one at all. Okay. It seems to be where there is ejector pins, where they're not in the way, but if you wanted to open it up, then perhaps they would be. They are extremely shallow. I don't even know if I'd worry about them. Okay, so some of the other areas we're working our way around here. We've got the other radar, so we get two types of radar down in here, as we were saying. Slightly different one down here, but all of these small parts, as you can probably see, extremely nicely done, no problem at all. Very, very nice. In fact, we've got two types of guns on this, so we just remember what we were saying about obviously checking your references to make sure you get the right parts, because we've got another set of guns down here with the different radar system. Okay, so obviously an earlier, later versions of this one. I'm just looking at all of these small parts, and I do have to say they are extremely detailed, very nice. Like this little guy down here, it's absolutely minute and tiny, and I'm amazed it hasn't broke, but it hasn't. Okay, very, very nice indeed. Oh look, another radar. How many radars do you get in this kit? So, top hull, as I said, because it hasn't got anything on it, there's not a lot to actually see, as you can imagine, because everything's going to bolt onto this. But the bolting itself is extremely raised, very nice indeed, very clean, very crisp, very sharp, no problem at all. Again, with these sides, but you can probably see it here. catch it in the light. This is release agent. You can wipe it around. I've got it on my finger now. It's all shiny. And it feels horrible. It's real. You don't want to go anywhere near this until this has been washed. Okay, because otherwise you're just going to make hard life later on. Trust me, you come in with paints and primers, and if you've still got it on there now, you would have taken this and wiped it over all your parts. So then when you come into using it, it's everywhere, okay? Radar. Different type of radar, back collar for it and everything else like that. Down on the inside we can't see any of this. The ejector pins are irrelevant down in here, but very nice and clean and crisp, and a little bit of a tab and a push and it comes off. Okay. This has got how many parts are in this? This is the last sprue out, but there seems to be a lot of parts in here. Okay, the top deck itself, so this is the sides. Okay, no problem down there. Again, I don't know how well the camera sees it, but you might see you got the release agent on the edge of these parts. You can see it like an oily trench down in here, and you wipe it, you can feel it, and then you get all squeaky. Sometimes when they're the first out, the first 10, something else like that, of a batch, then you tend to be a little bit more, so forth and so on. Nice little touch down here I really like is the seat. It's full of texture and padded and cushions and looks worn and everything else like that. That's really nice to see. These cogs as well, beautifully done. These are really, really nice, and they're sharp. That's the weird thing, okay? Some extremely good moulding on this, I have to say. No problem with that at all. I've now got the bug for this now. I might have to go out and buy one. Okay, clear parts. So down in here, we're not going to bother opening it. To be honest, what we've actually got is for the instrument panel on the side, and then obviously the lights in your windows. It's all flat, so there's no problem with that at all. Now, the wheels, and then we'll have a look at the track. So this is all your road wheels and your drive shafts and your idlers and everything else, making sure that these bits in here are not anything important. So it's a dupe, as in duplicate sprue, same for both sides. Again, extremely nice the way that they've done this. The cogs, everything else, it is really, really nice. Even these smaller tiny parts down here, extremely well molded, no problem at all. Again, this is covered in release agent, okay, and everything else like that. Some really, really nice details down in this. In fact, I'm extremely impressed on this kit. This is an absolute joy. Okay, and then we've got the track. So if we just whip one out. So we've got multiples of the same thing. So I can just get one out. Okay, and we are hoping, if I just borrow a couple off of here. I'm hoping that this is going to track. My only problem is, you might notice I'm hesitant because I can't actually get in here to get them off the sprue, which is, my usual way is obviously in with a pair of scissors. Extremely difficult to get in here, especially when you've got a broken blade on your disposable knife. I'm just trying to literally just take 2 or 3 off just to have a play with. Alright, we're just going to see how these link and go together. Okay, if I just take 3 just to argument's sake. Okay. And that is why I like my little disposable knife. As you can see, there's hardly any clean up to all of these. And then we're just going to see if these will click together. And if they do, it's going to be my star kit. Okay, just being careful because, you know, with these things, you don't want to stress them. So what we're going to do is going to put it down. Okay. And they do. Did you hear the click as well? That's so positive. Right, let's try and do it a different way. So we're going on the bottom and we're going on the top. Try this again. Bottom and top. And it is a click fit system. Really, really nice. So you don't have to worry about that thing of it having to glue it together in sections and then put it in. You can build this up in an entire route. I don't think it's good as perhaps we did the Terminator. It had the pin system and everything else. This is more of a click system, certainly quicker. But there we go. As you can see, it holds itself together really, really nicely, and I assume it will come apart There we go. You can just actually, if you've got too many in there, it comes apart really easy as well, so you can remove and put in links as is required. Just be a little bit careful with them. It's obviously the little ball system. If you overdo it, you might shear one off, but I'm sure you'll get a lot of spares, as you can imagine, in this particular set and everything else like that. So there we go. That is the brilliant SHILKA. I must admit, having looked at this kit now, first time I've looked at it, it looks to be an absolute stunner, and I can imagine myself building this one in the near future. Okay, it's something a little bit different and certainly lends itself to a little bit of upgrading, dioramas, things like that. As we now know, we can open up the hatches, we can have it looking like it's being reloaded, worked on, whatever you want to do with this one, or you can button it up so it looks like it's in the middle of a battle or anything else like that. So really, the choice is yours with this particular kit. So there we go, that's Meng's fantastic SHILKA ZSU-23.